one thing I found when helping people find their purpose is one thing that some people needed to do was just refine the joy in what they were doing, right? And maybe it wasn't necessarily a shift in careers. Some people it was. Most people wanted that shift in careers. But I would say it's like a 60-40, which is pretty close, right? About 40% of them just needed to refine that spark or a shift within their current career. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the TPM Show. We are still at the TPM Ranch, once again bringing you two TPM legends here. This is the final day. A little sad, honestly, to see these men leave. They've been big players in my heart for a long time, and they've been lighthouses shining throughout the movement. And we're going to tap into their intelligence and their wisdom today. Guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
You got it, son. How's the event been so far for you guys? Here we are. I mean, it's gone fast for me. I don't know about you guys. How's it been?
A word I don't use a lot is epic because I feel like it takes, and it feel like it's got to be something extraordinary for a trip to be epic. But that's one way to put it. It was beyond my expectations. I didn't have high expectations coming into it, but it was far beyond my expectations.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I had a big breakthrough. So for me, I would say epic as well. I mean, it's just, it wasn't like we did a ton of deep work like I've done on other trips with TPM. This was just like one pretty powerful day, and I got what I was looking for, and also got to have a lot of fun with a lot of great dudes, a lot of familiar faces that you don't see very often. To come to this ranch is like, it's really special, and there's a lot of just good energy here. And just like every time I come, it's just, a good shift in the right way. So it's a special place, man.
Yeah.
Like what you've built is really cool.
Thanks, bud. Thanks. Yeah, it's been awesome for me. It's come and gone, like I said, and sad, but happy. It's a juxtaposition of being happy and also sad to see you guys leave and keep trying to sell all of you guys moving here, but for selfish reasons. Austin, you had a topic. You just said, "Hey, look, I got something I want to share. Let's have a conversation about it."
Yeah, actually, I've had the pleasure of rooming with Alan all week, and I've never met him prior to this trip. Kind of knew of him. So it was pretty special to get to share a room with him, and just in conversations with him, kind of hearing his journey throughout the week. One thing he's, not necessarily that he's struggling with, or that this is the reason. Like, it was one thing that I was struggling with too, which is passion. Passion for what you do and how you tie your passions and your vision and your family and all those things together so that you're, aligned. And I read an article by Sahil Bloom, who's written a book similar to The 5 Territories, which is super cool, resonated with it. And he talks about basically obsessive passion, which a lot of men, I think, have. It's very easy, and it's kind of this extrinsic type of a passion where it's about your identity being tied to what you do in your career. And then there's this harmonious passion that is more intrinsic, that is tied to who you really are as a person, what your values are, and what you stand for. And I've done a lot of work on what my values are, what I stand for as a person. And I've also been on the obsessive type path. And this weekend I felt a shift more to the harmonious path. And that was really cool for me to even read that the same morning that I'm feeling this type of way, and that's just like, it tied it together for me.
Okay.
And so the extrinsic versus intrinsic, obsessive passion versus harmonious passion. And one thing that he was struggling with is kind of, what is he passionate about?
So you want to digest Alan today?
I think just passion in general for a lot of men would struggle with that. They 100%. Are extrinsic with their identity.
Yeah. So before TPM, I had my own coaching business, and I was running that, 2 of them actually. And one of the things I got known for, and I'm sharing this, I'll give you the context, was helping people who are already successful find their purpose, right? Wasn't as much passion as people were coming to me trying to find their purpose. And kind of the shortcut to this was the roadblock that I found most people, men and women, because at the time I coached women too, was that people thought their purpose or their passion had to be like the one thing for the rest of their life. And I found that, working with people over a long period of time, there was this continuum that most all of them had this idea that I got to find that thing. I'm at this job. I've made a lot of money. I've been successful, but I got to find my purpose. Why am I here? And in looking for that one thing, and I don't know if you guys resonate with this at all, it almost blocked it blocked them, right? And to me, and I'll tie it into those two things. I never heard that before. Harmonious versus
Obsessive.
Obsessive. Thank you. To me, a purpose could be for a moment, for a week, for a year, for a lifetime. You don't know unless you start pursuing something. And that was the biggest roadblock for a lot of people finding that passion, is they made it so big. It was such an enormous thing that that was the part. It was kind of like if you have a guy that's 400 pounds and he should be 175, right? But he's 400 pounds, and the idea of getting to 175, it just sounds like it's just impossible. So it's hard for him to even start. But if you're like, hey man, let's get you to 395. Okay, that's doable. I can do 395. Okay, great. Once you get to 395, let's do 390 it starts to become, you get the momentum going, and all of a sudden, hey, now 175, that's reachable. I get that's going to be a couple of years from now, but that's going to be reachable. You guys ever experienced anything like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head there. Because when I think about it for myself, it's, how can I relate? Almost say I have a huge menu in front of me, and they say, all right, pick this one meal. This one meal is going to determine where you're going to go. And there's so many things to choose from, and you get overwhelmed.
Sure.
You try to go left, try to go right, try to go straight, and it's too much, right?
You want to make the right decision.
Right.
Yeah, that's the key. Especially for men like you guys, you're doing well. Like, it's not like life's bad.
No.
It's just, and because you're so smart and so skilled, you do have that gigantic menu with, but it's 300,000 main courses to choose from. And you're like, man, I got to eat this meal the rest of my life. Okay, this one better be good.
Right.
Going through there. And when you talked about obsessive passion versus harmonious passion, I love the fact that you found yourself leaning more towards the harmonious side. I wonder if you can get obsessive about the harmonious side though too, and combine those.
I think when you use it in a way like that, like just being obsessive about the finding harmony. I think that's absolutely like you go down this obsessive path that's built around business and wealth and money and sometimes greed, which is kind of the the path of force, right? And then when you shift to more of the harmonious path, I feel like that's the path of surrender.
I think it can be, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys heard my vision. I shared it with you guys that I had years ago, right? Like I was so far from that thing, and here we are sitting in it, which is weird, but beautiful at the same time. I have definitely found that when people chase money for a long period of time, there's short sprints that we all go through. For a long period of time, they feel hollow and empty inside. I've also found, for the most part, when people chase just not doing what they love to do, but when they find what they love and mirror it with a need in the world, and they chase that and are responsible with the money, then they tend to make more money and be, I guess, more in harmony, if you will.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Ikigai?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like finding that harmony.
Yeah. Do you want to describe what the Ikigai is for those listening?
So basically it's like, it's the intersection of four circles, and the four circles represent, I think, what you love or what you're passionate about, what the world needs, what you can get paid for. And I'm struggling to remember the fourth one, but
we'll come up with it. Google it.
Yeah. But, it's that intersection of those four things that I think can kind of tie into this passion project that I think what a lot of people are looking for. And that exercise is hard to do if you've never actually just put forth, to go from that 400 to 395. I feel like the Ikigai is trying to get to the 200.
Yes.
Or the 175 in your example, like quickly. And I think there's some other work that you can do before you would even do. Like doing a first draft of that, I think is a great idea.
Yep.
But it's something that I think you need to revisit, every 6 months to a year, and just continue to push forward into leaning into what is your passion year on year. Because like you said, it could be a week long, could be a month long, quarter, or a year that you might be passionate about something, and your passions can change. For me, I have 5 passions that I know of. One is deep level of intimacy with my wife and with God and family, abundance of time, energy, and money, first class experiences and adventure, leading a team and a family that vibe with my values. And then lastly is just innovating, the industry that I'm in, which is construction.
Those are 5 great things, by the way.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I've spent time doing that. And what I didn't have until this week was it was a forceful, obsessive kind of like path towards more of the business side.
Yeah.
And what I found this week was kind of the harmony in it all and how to tie it all together.
Awesome. I love that.
And that's joy. Doing what brings me joy. And if it ain't fun, if it ain't fun, it ain't worth doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of guys don't know how to have fun anymore, right? I know I went through that. You're shaking your head over your eye.
That was something that came to me this weekend. Was I had a vision of my kids basically telling me, Dad, just go have fun. You don't always have to be the provider and focus on that as your main priority. Like, go have fun, go enjoy yourself. And sometimes I forget to do that.
And for those listening, when we did some deep assisted vision work for an entire day, to say the least. And so both of you guys got some great messaging from that. Something that might be helpful, what I've been doing, I used to do this when I started in my 20s. I was that weird friend that would email you and go, hey man, what are 5 things I'm really good at? What are 5 things I'm not good at? Or what, and if I was a character in the movie, who would I be? And I did that like year after year, different people, sometimes the same people. And I started to see just a continuum of these people didn't know each other necessarily. Then I started doing it with like people that were older than me, people that are mentors I respected. And I would ask them the same questions. And oftentimes it was, what do you think or my strengths basically? What do you think are my possible downfalls or weaknesses? And I love the idea, if I was a character in the movie, what movie would be and what character? And again, seeing that commonality started to go through. And one thing that was for me that a lot of people said is you take complex things and make them simple so people can understand. And I started looking back, I was like, holy cow. Whether it be personal training, whether it be being assistant director of education at an International Sports Science Association, I took like complex exercise physiology and nutrition and broke it down simple for a guy like me to understand. And teaching, right? You're always in a teaching position of some sort. And I see how that just played out, right? But it also helped me direct when I was looking for my passion, like, why am I choosing these things? Every career, job I've taken has been in the service of helping others be better. I was like, okay, that's interesting. What else am I interested in doing and bringing more to light in the world? And kind of the Ikigai idea. I'm tempted to take my phone out and Google this, by the way. Cool. And doing that, just getting feedback. So maybe for you, Alan, just when you're looking for this, you got a bunch of great guys here. It's like, hey, look, when you think of me, what are the top 3 great things and the top 3 things that I could work on are blind spots. And that might help go, oh, here's the 80-20 in these inputs and from friends and family. This is the direction I get to go through.
All right. So we have what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And then the 4th one is what you're good at.
There you go.
And then obviously what you're good at and what you love is passion. What you love in the intersection of what the world needs is your mission. Then there's vocation and profession. And then in the center is Ikigai.
Yeah.
So, and I've done that exercise a few times. I got mine up right now.
Why don't you tell us yours?
So at the center, I love automation, like automating things, systemizing things. I love coaching and education. I taught at a 5-year university in construction management for 5 years. So I'm looking at acquiring a contractor coaching business. I love an A-player community, which is like having a team with similar values. I love construction and entrepreneurship. I love SaaS and innovation, and I love a warrior mindset.
Love it, man. Yeah. That's why Austin, we're bound by the pond. He's talking about building this gigantic deck for us.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. You know, or walking around the ranch house here at TPM going, hey, you got that board up there, it needs to be fixed. And if you get a ladder and nail gun, I'll take care of it.
I walk into any building and I start looking at like the structure and call it a construction boner.
That's a great thing, man. But that's where your passion is. So, Alan, if we were to go through those with you, let's go for them. Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
All right. What are some things that you love?
I love to help others. I love teaching people what I know. Coaching is another one that I really enjoy. I coach on a youth sports level, and I love seeing the kids that aren't the strongest develop the most. That brings me so much joy.
That's like mentoring.
Yeah.
An underdog. You like the underdog, huh?
I do. I like to see the weak guys, get stronger.
Cool.
And what do you think the world needs? The world needs coaching.
The world does need coaching.
Mentorship.
Yeah, which is
right. So those things vibe, which can be part of your mission.
Let's let him answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, coaching, which is what comes up for me is honesty, right? Which, to your point, when you're saying reach out to the other guys and ask them, like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what do they see? Getting some of that honesty feedback from them can help me develop as well.
Yeah, I would even say the question for you might be, what is your honest experience of me?
Sure.
Right? Because you're in a different position than I was. Like, you sit next to Austin, you're next to high performing men, but also have done the inner work for year after year, peeling back the layers. Like, they'll understand what that means. And you also have guys that are just going to be honest with you, right? I mean, what a blessing. You're not going to just get the fluff and all the nice things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are going to be all nice things about you because that's my experience of you.
I appreciate that.
And they're not going to pull punches either, right? This is what you want to get as the outcome. These guys are going to work hard to get you the right info. So, because data in gets data out. So if they give you fluff, you're not going to get what you really need.
Right. Fair enough.
What's the gap that you think the world has? Like, when you think about your skills, that's another question we haven't got to yet. But like, when you think of your skill sets and what you bring, whether it be coaching, I've seen you light up every time you talk about coaching the kids, by the way, like light up and kind of that underdog feel. But what do you think? Where do you see gaps?
I guess on a coaching topic, I see a push for so many coaches or so many people to want others do what they're doing, right? Or to do it the way they are doing it themselves, rather than the way that person may need it. Yeah, I guess I can dig a little bit deeper there.
Yeah, I think you want to definitely dig deeper
sure.
on that one. Your background's engineering, right?
Yeah.
So his background as an engineer. Are you interested in? So here's another thing I didn't share though. Is one thing I found when helping people find their purpose is one thing that some people needed to do was just refine the joy in what they were doing, right? And maybe it wasn't necessarily a shift in careers. Some people it was. Most people wanted that shift in careers. But I would say it's like a 60-40, which is pretty close, right? About 40% of them just needed to refine that spark or a shift within their current career. Do you have a sense of what that would be for you?
Inside, I don't feel like I'm the engineer, right? I don't feel like that's my passion.
Yeah.
I know it's not. It was just a career that I chose and went down that route. Similar to what Austin does, I've always had a construction background. Bringing people's visions to life, like that brings me a lot of joy as well.
Yeah.
I've done it for myself. Taking something that was somebody would just demolish and bring it back to life. Make a new vision of what I think, Hey, you see this bathroom right here? Yeah, it looks like it's from the 70s. Okay, let's bring it up to present time. But I do enjoy that. So I feel more of a pull in that direction, and I have strengths in that area as well.
Okay, so that direction being, just so I can define it and I'm clear, and Austin's clear and everybody listening is clear.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That strength is in helping pull someone's vision out of them.
Right.
And then maybe polishing it up a little bit. It sounds like even making it better.
Sure.
Right. Because I know for myself, we're doing a remodel of my house. I think I was telling you, Austin, this. I was telling you this in the truck. Is I don't necessarily know what I want done to my house. I just know when I see it if it's good, right? So I need that guy to come up here and go, well, really what this bathroom needs is like, oh, that sounds amazing. I have vision for everybody else's stuff, but when it comes to like construction of my house, I have no idea.
Really?
Like, yeah. So I would be that kind of person that you could come to and go, hey, let's take a look and solve this problem for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I find a lot of joy in that. To see someone light up, similar to what you were saying about me, like when you see another person light up, that brings me joy. So, to your point, what the world needs is more of that, right? Bringing joy to others and myself.
Just in that niche, and I'm not saying this is it, 'cause but that's a designer.
Yeah, sure.
Right? A designer with an engineering background. Because usually you got one or the other, right?
Right.
When we were, as an example, when we were looking, we signed a contract with an architect. We had an architect show up to our house who, was kind of like your typical suit architect. And then the next person we had was a designer come, totally different energy, totally different vibes. Like the designer had all these creative ideas, but the architect had all the structural, like I can do this stuff. Then we had a construction guy come in who had a totally different vibe. And it was almost like, you're like, dude, can we just get a person that can have the vision and tell us how to actually know how to do it in one package?
That's actually like, I have a construction engineering background. Yeah. So I've taken the design classes, the architectural classes, and just the general building classes. And that's exactly like my strongest suit is being able to walk into a customer's home and be able to speak architectural, designer, and builder. And that's like the one-stop shop that people love. And then I provide them the service of bringing the vision.
Hey guys, I just want to share something with you. I'm sure we can both agree that in order to fix something, you need to know what's broken. And not only do you know what's broken, but a step-by-step methodology on how you can fix it. That's the easiest way to do it, right? Otherwise, you're going to be toiling with things. That's why I created a free training, a training that not only shows you how you got to where you are, where your relationship is missing that love, respect, admiration, and even intimacy that it used to have, to how you get it back. How do you retain that where your wife's looking at you the same way she used to look at you when she said, I do? I don't know about you, but for me, when my wife looks at me like I'm her man, that I feel like I can conquer the world. And I want that for you. Simply go over to thepowerfulman.com/scales. That's thepowerfulman.com/scales. And I have a free video training for you. You can just click play and see if this resonates for you. Now back to the podcast.
Right, can show them the pictures, inspiration photos to start, and then basically taking a scan of their bathroom in your case, taking it to a CAD model, having one of my designers who I've got on staff now, and she'll take it and make it look really pretty, and then I can take that with a proposal, a cost, and a design to an end consumer to the point where they're like, this is exactly what I wanted. Take my money.
Sweet, guys. My house is 10-minute drive from here. It's off the truck.
Slow down.
Let's go.
But that's what I've really connected with Alan on too, is like how I got started in that and what I've been able to build. And, his, engineering background, his construction background is similar to, what I had. And I was doing the same thing. I was designing HVAC and plumbing systems. I was an engineer. And I felt the pull to do something different. So I feel like him and I being in the same room this weekend wasn't a coincidence.
And you guys are both personalities are so different, right? I mean, you guys could be in the same town, have the same business, and one person would gravitate towards you, Austin, because your personality. One person would gravitate towards you because your personality, Alan. I think people miss that a lot, right? When people are looking not for their passion, but at building a business, they don't realize that personality has a lot to do with it. My experience of you, one is you're incredibly hardworking. You literally, I was in the mud and you just like walked right into the mud and got hands in your mud. We were working on a project during the first barn building. Yeah. I'll never forget it. Right. I'm like, this guy is willing to get his hands dirty. Yeah. Like no one's asking him to do anything. And he just kept going and going and going. You also have a huge heart and You don't need to be the center of attention. That's just not your thing. You can be, you're comfortable there, but you don't need to be. It's kind of this, you have a calm, powerful energy about you, right? That reassures everybody else around you that they're safe. They know Alan's here. Everything's going to be good. It is. It's that very grounded, centered energy. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And I think when he opens up, he's actually really funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah.
Says it like he was surprised.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. No, he's hilarious. And he'll throw it right back at you pretty quickly. Very sharp-minded.
Spot on, Doug.
Yeah.
Spot on. I felt that when you said it too.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, personalities are very different. This guy is, walk right into the kitchen with his shirt off, grab the box of cereal, whatever it is, and go to town snacking. I'm just... Why don't you have a shirt on? That's just me. We're totally different people, but I love it about him too. Sometimes I wish I was more extrovert.
Yeah. Austin gives us the permission to do that,
He
right?
He does.
He gives people the permission to be themselves more. That's my experience of you. We're just about Alan though, but my experience of you is, you give people the permission to have fun. You give people permission to be joyful and to laugh. Yesterday when we were going through the visioning work and you started laughing, it just became like a crescendo of everybody else going through that. And everybody else is going through different things on their own process. And you bring that. But you also, you could be a jester at one moment and literally like that you drop into something deep, which is this cool juxtaposition, of a personality that gets people to go, whoa, that guy's interesting. He's not just the guy in the locker room making jokes. He can be. He has that ability, but he could also drop deep and talk about personal stuff. Whether I've heard you talking about your faith with people since we've been here in a very deep way. The love you have for your wife is second to none, right? And the passion you have, and your team is amazing. But then you also talk about business. You and I've had a lot of talking about LTV and CAC and, all these good things and investments. So you have both those shades, and both of you guys do it in just different shades.
Yeah.
So I think what the guys listening to this, because most guys are lost, trying to figure out what their next step is. And I think it's a journey to figure it out. One of the things I think you got to do is try stuff. That's, I'll save you the 6 months of coaching. Let's just try as much stuff as you can to see what sticks and what lights you up. And be careful not to say, hey, this thing's fun for me. Like it might be coaching your son. We were talking about that now. I really enjoy this, therefore I should be a coach, right? I don't think that's true. I think sometimes you have to have just stuff you enjoy and keep that for yourself and not make that your full-time gig. I think a lot of people fall into that.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's a good point.
So when you look at, just to circle back to the beginning conversation, the book you're reading, and I'm going to mess them up again.
Obsessive passion and harmonious passion.
Yeah, I think obsessive passion, the way I would define it, comes naturally, right? Because it's just something you're interested in. And us as business guys, I think we can go down that rabbit hole pretty quickly and get lost in it. And we get to remember why we're doing what we're doing. A lot of men forget that they're working so hard and making money for their family, and they forgot their family, right? And a lot of guys listening to this, that's their situation. They put their heads down, they've worked their asses off, and they look up and they're like, why am I not connected with my wife? Why am I not connected with my kids? And quite honestly, I'm just going to call a spade, so to speak, is they made it, it's an excuse, right? They're really working hard for themselves. And not, they're telling themselves a story about that. I think getting in harmony is getting conscious. What is it you want to do? And what's the outcome you want? Here's a question for you, Alan. I'll ask both of you guys this. You're both in your late 30s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mid-30s.
Yeah, mid-30s.
Yeah.
I'll say late, but okay, you're both in your mid-30s.
Wait, are you 35?
36.
36?
I guess
I'm 36, yeah. Too.
Yeah, I thought you were both 36.
So we're in the late. We're past 35.
All right. Mid-30s young bucks. Let's say you hit your 80s, right? You're sitting on the porch. You're over here at the TPM Ranch, sitting on the porch, reflecting about what's most important to you. What comes up to you? What are you most proud of when you look back at your life?
The experiences that I've created with my family, my kids, that holds the most weight in my life. That's most important.
Okay.
We were leaving a basketball game the other day, and my little girl, she's 6, and she says, I just love my family. I don't even need my Crocs. I just love my family.
Oh,
and that's all I want. And that warmed my heart, because I tried to emphasize that with them, that stuff is just stuff, right? The experiences you have with your family, your loved ones, your friends means the most. So yeah, that's probably what I would be thinking about and proud of the most, to ensure that I had some of the best experiences of my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'd say the same thing, the relationship and connection with my wife and my kids, and extended family too, friends and family, but like first and foremost, it's the wife and the kids. And I think it's easy to say that, but it's another thing to live it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest breakthrough for me this week was, I say these things, or I have them in a book or a wall, or, it's in my values, or it's in my passions, but it's like, really living that out and making it, like that harmonious passion for me is like blending everything so that I can live that out, and be that example for my team and inspire my team to have that, relationship with their wives and their kids. Because, if I'm just always doing the business thing and I'm not taking care of my health, or I'm not going out on date night, or I'm not, taking my kids to jump at a trampoline park or do something fun, like that's when it really starts to eat at me and I get agitated easily. And I think, there's a way to be in harmony where I can still do and perform at a high level in business, but also be a high performing dad and a high performing husband too. And it's just like, taking the time to be intentional about that. And when I look back at my life, that's what I want my wife and kids to be like, he was an awesome husband and an awesome dad.
Yeah. I think what you both get to do is define what that looks like. What an awesome husband, awesome dad is. What do epic memory, or not, you didn't say epic, but what do incredible memories look like? And that you start there, right? Then you build the other stuff around that core center. And what a lot of us do, and the guys listening to this, myself included, is we try to fit that in to the business. We try to fit that into the daily life. Like, where is those core memories going to fit in? Where is, okay, I'll go on that trip when, right? Or I'll spend time with my daughter or my son or my kids or my friends when work is done. It's how do you incorporate that how do you incorporate work and whatever you might be passionate about into that life? And why can't your family be your passion? I think a lot of people miss that. Like, why can't that be your purpose? And then you're just fitting stuff around that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think when people think about purpose, what they think about work.
Yeah.
Right. But what if they don't? What if they're just like, hey, I'll get to figure out a means of making money to fund my passion. That's just a vehicle. Just like I need food to come in and nourish my body so I can do the things I want to do. And I think especially in Western culture, that's a problem because we just associate it all with work. And I also would encourage you I would encourage you to get creative, right? Because when I got into coaching, it wasn't really a big thing. So if I would have told people sitting at the bar, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to take the top performing businessmen around the world and I'm going to get them all together and I'm going to have them do experiential things, personal development, business development, and we're going to talk about their families. People would be like, you're friggin' nuts, dude. There's not, right? And that's probably true. I probably am. And at the same time, it worked, right? We developed something that I think is very magical and special, but we developed it around what our interests were. I mean, I know the men in TPM, here's a secret, guys, for listening. When you get on a call with an advisor, there is a box that they have to fill out that's called the beer test. Does this man pass the beer test? And you guys all did. And why is that? Is it for economics? No. Is it because we're trying to make more money? No. Is it, it's not the business model. It's because when I'm looking at my passion and my purpose, I want to hang out with men and work with men that I enjoy being with, like you guys. And so when you're looking for your purpose and passion, I would invite you to go back to that rocking chair and let that guy help you figure out what your purpose and passion is, not the 36-year-old, late 30s guy that's sitting here today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. It kind of gives more direction rather than just sitting there with an empty notebook trying to come up with ideas, right?
Yeah, start with the end in mind, right? So, when you're 80, and you're still coming to the ranch, by the way, just making sure I'm throwing that in the vision. When you're 80, what are those things besides your kids, or what are the experiences you want to have? It's great to have good experiences, but let's get a little more granular. Like, hey, just throw things on the wall. And what I do, this is when I'm listening to you guys sometimes, when you're sharing your visions, I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. Or your values. I'm like, I like some of those. I'm gonna use those, because like the guy who needs his house remodeled, I don't necessarily know what I want to look like. I have some ideas, but if somebody else has better ideas, I'll take them, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with our vision and purpose. If somebody else has a good idea, why shouldn't I use that? If it strikes me into my core as a good idea, then it's obviously inside of me already. So as you're listening to other people's passions and visions, for both of you guys, if you like something, just take it, and use it or tweak it for your own.
Yeah, I like that.
That's an exercise in the book too. The same book that I'm, referring to. He does like begin with the end in mind and kind of picture yourself.
I like this guy.
And we've done that exercise too, where it's like write your own eulogy kind of a thing, where it's like, and at the end of the day, a lot. And he's done like more of like the research and has like statistics behind it. But a lot of people get to the end of life and they wish they would have spent more time with family or done more with the loved ones. It's not about the extrinsic, being the contractor, being the businessman. It was, a lot of them get to the end and they regret not being more intrinsic and finding joy with the people that are around them that they love.
Dude, my mom just died last week, like literally just died.
Yeah.
And right before that, my brother called me and said, hey, I need your help. My stepdad, she went to a hospice care. My stepdad went with her. He was unable to move stuff. They moved from a big, large house in Orange County, California. And then eventually getting to this point to a assisted living facility, like a 1-bedroom. So I flew out there and they had all of their stuff still. Just 1 bedroom they had at a 2-bedroom facility they were moving from was filled wall to wall with boxes of stuff that they accumulated, antiques, valuables. We only had a few days, so there's no estate sale. There's no, I'm throwing this in my luggage and taking it home. We took 80% of their stuff and we put it on tables outside for people just to take. I mean, it all goes away. It was such a hard-hitting thing. Antiques they've collected from around the world, very valuable stuff. But I can't take it with me. I live far away, and I'm not going to ship it. We don't have enough time to actually sell it for them. And so here comes their worldly possessions are all on folding tables outside, and other elderly people in their senior living facility are picking through it like vultures.
Yeah.
But that's just the reality. You can't take it with you.
Can't take the stuff with you.
We all know it. We all know it, but yet does your day-to-day life showing it? When I coach, first thing I do when I coach, the first thing, but one of the first things I do with a one-on-one client. So a one-on-one client right now working with me is $250,000 a year. And we meet once a week except for holidays and things like that, just on a phone call. So significant cost and capital, right? You're putting your nuts on the line. You really got to want it. Point being is I ask them what they want. Everybody says family, da-da-da. I go, okay, cool. Pull up your calendar. Let's look at your calendar right now. All right. So show me your calendar. I'll show you your priorities. If your family isn't in there, if the 6-year-old, right, isn't in there. For me, it's my 5-year-old daughter. If date night with your wife isn't in there, that calendar, stop bullshitting yourself. You're not fooling me. So stop lying to yourself and start putting it in there. Second thing I'll have them do, I go pull, and this is at this point, the relationship's built, but I'll pull up your bank statements. Let's go to your bank right now. And a lot of guys are reluctant for a lot of reasons, as you can imagine. But I'm like, dude, this is what we're doing. So you guys know me well enough to know that it's like, hey, if I'm saying we're doing this, this is what we're doing. And I look in there, I go, hey, every dollar's a vote. What are you voting for right now? Right now, it looks like you're voting for Amazon. Right? You're voting for you're voting for nice things. You're voting for the lake house you never go to because you're working too much. Where are your votes? Right? So for you, I would expect, Alan, to see those votes and experiences. Right? Your money invested there. For you, it's going to be the core values you're looking at achieving. And sometimes there's investments to get you there and there's strategy, but it's a good data point to go back and go, all right, let's just pull up my calendar today, just legitimately without judgment. And here's, everybody tells me, well, this is a weird week or this is an odd month. 100% of the time I hear that, not most of the time, 100% of the time. It's like when I used to run a private training studio in Santa Barbara, and I'd say, okay, what'd you eat yesterday? Write it down for me. Oh, well, yesterday was an odd day. I heard that 100% of the time. It's just not true because every day is an odd day. Every week's an odd week. So if you pull up your calendar, guys listening to this, you pull up your calendar right now, does it reflect your priorities? If you're trying to save your marriage, is attending a class? Is it listening to podcasts? Is it growth? Is it date night? Is it something to better communication, intimacy? Is that in there? And if it's not, you're lying to yourself. You got to change it. Same thing, pull up your bank account for the last month or week even. Where have you been spending your money? And be honest with yourself about reality. And so when you're searching for your purpose, your passion, that's also where you get to look at like, okay, this isn't aligning. And don't judge yourself, right? That's not the point here. The point is just being honest. It's day one, right? Day one's about the truth. It's getting honest with yourself. And then from that point, we can make changes. But until we actually are real with ourselves, we can't figure out our purpose, our passion, our values. It's just lip service.
We just got $250,000 advice right there.
That was pretty solid. Trying to take it all in.
Yeah, I think it's easy to, open a calendar and have it in there too, but it's like you got to first plan and then take action. So having it in the calendar is important. I feel like I have things in the calendar and, sometimes it's just like that's the thing that gets skipped too. So it's like you got to check yourself also and continually have that quarterly review, monthly review, and putting time in your calendar to do those things too. And I'm probably good at putting things in my calendar, but I'm not as good at the action behind it on certain things.
Yeah, good, right? And then that.
But when it comes to work, I never miss that appointment.
No.
So It's just like, I think that's what's been brought into balance for me this week is like that shit is actually way more important.
It is. I mean, and
that's what brings me joy.
Yeah.
That's the legacy I want to leave.
And sometimes you have to embody it, right? Mm-hmm. Theory and listening to podcasts like this one right here or having conversations, that can be hard. But the embodiment, and sometimes you have to force that embodiment. Like I have people that have access to my calendar and you guys might have people too. So mine's color coded. So, hey, this color blue can't be moved. This color gray, you can move it around, put things over it. I'll figure it out. And so it's color coded of what's movable and what's not movable. And I'll make those family rocks in there in that blue. And even because I'm the same, we're all the same way. Like, can you take a call at 6 a.m.? No. Yeah, this time I'll do it. Right. And now we're training people on that we're movable. Our boundaries are movable. Every time, we run an international company, right? As you guys both know. And so we'll have people in the UK. I'm on the West Coast, people I work with, clients. And so having morning calls is great. But I made my mornings for my family. And I used to get requests all the time. Hey, just one meeting at 6 or 5 a.m. And when I started saying no on a regular basis, two things happened, right? So people would say, I can't meet. I have to meet at 5 a.m. Just have to. I'm over in Cyprus or, south, somewhere else in the world. It has to be 5 a.m. I can't do later. Every time I've said, no, I can't do that, somehow they find the time to meet at a different time. Sorry, up until 8 a.m., that's for my kids and my family. I can't do it, man. Apologize. Guess we're not going to have a phone call. Well, 8 on Wednesday, I can make it work. 100% of the time. And when you do that consistently, guess what? People stop asking you for the 5 a.m., the 6 a.m. meetings because you've retrained them on how you work. And then they get trained to open up their 8 a.m.s and then whatever time that means. And you get the analogy I'm going with. We get to train them. We get to do the same thing with work, right? Hey, sorry, it's big. It's a big contract. Yeah, but Wednesday's date night.
Yeah,
that's a bigger contract.
My little girl. So this one kind of hit hard. For Father's Day, she drew me a card. She's 6. She on a piece of construction paper. It was a picture of me sitting at the computer, and it said, "Dad, can you play with me?" And it said, "Not right now. I got to finish my work." And I opened it, and it really hurt,
dude,
because I remember specifically what it was. She just wanted me to come play with her for probably 5 minutes, but I was like, "Let me finish this email. Let me take this call." And I saved it as a good reminder of what's most important.
Yeah.
And she asked me, she said, "Why'd you keep that data?" I said, "Well, this is for me. Just a reminder that, when I am working from home and the kids are there, it's tough. They want to play."
Yeah.
And there's always time. The email can get sent later. The job can get done.
Yep.
That hits
They're
with
gonna be
me
little.
too.
Oh, me as well. I'm
Same.
guilty of it.
Yeah.
I tell a story called Just One More Second at TARS now.
Yeah, that's me.
Have you heard that? Yeah. I had my little girl, she was 3, walk around the house, go, just 1 second, just 1 second. So what is she saying? Just 1 second. I was like, oh, you know who says that? Me. Hey, Dad, can you come play? Yeah, just 1 second. Hey, Dad, do we help me? Yeah, just 1 second. I've trained this girl that she is worth just 1 second. Wow. It blew out. I usually tell, for some reason I'm not. I'm just like, stop. I'm like a ball, a puddle. So good job.
I'm holding it back.
Yeah. But I mean, those are the things, right? So when we're 80, I mean, that's what for TPM, I'm trying to incorporate my family more and more, inviting them. I took them to Europe for the last Brotherhood event. They came afterwards, flew them in, and we traveled Europe. And I'm trying to integrate them more into what it is we do. And I get to find a way to do it more, right? Because I love TPM. I love the movement. I love the men that come and what it stands for. And, right, it gets to fit around the family. I'm curious. I know we haven't got to the root. I have a bunch of other questions for you, but I want to give them to you privately because I don't think we need to open up your whole life to 1 million people or so in the world. And I appreciate you being so open
sure.
to have this conversation, as well as you, Austin, as always. If you were to give advice to kind of put a bow on this, if you were to give advice to a guy who's listening to this, we went all over the place, but they're like, man, I'm a little bit lost. Most guys listen to this, their family life isn't where they wanted it to be. They're probably lost and a little bit stuck, right? Feel like they're pushing the gas, but the wheels are just spinning, mud's sliding out, but the car's not moving. Anything that you guys want to say to them?
So when I was asked to come on this retreat, I thought of a million other things I had to do.
Yeah.
Missed a few sports games and whatnot. I'm very much introvert, like to figure things out on my own. But the reason we're all here, is because I couldn't do everything on my own. Mm-hmm. I needed help. Just like this particular topic. Mm-hmm. Asking for help, getting advice from guys that have gone through it. So yeah, I would say ask for help and get feedback from others on yourself.
I love that.
My advice would be, do what brings you joy. If it ain't fun, it ain't worth doing. And, in my vision planning this week, it was very centered around that, and being around my wife, being around my kids, actually intentional with them brings me joy. Obviously there's work things that bring me joy, but there's also things at work that don't bring me joy, and I need to do less of. I need to find a replacement for that, or an investment that, is just really dragging on, and it's like the bane of my existence. It's not bringing me joy. I need to cut it off. So it's like, if it's not bringing you joy, find a way to cut it off, delegate it, get rid of it, automate it, whatever that is, and just do more of what you love and what brings you joy. And then that's really kind of a continual thing that'll, I think produce the fruit of happiness that a lot of people are looking for.
I love that. And I'm going to add on to that if I can. What I would recommend is get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, light, heavy, right? Because a lot of people can't. I find a lot of people have a hard time finding, like, well, does it bring me joy? kind of, does it make you feel light? Is it easy? Is it fun? Or is it heavy and drain you of energy? And then make a list of all the things you do and put them in one of the two columns. There's no 50-50 split. I mean, there's sometimes some things, but why delineate what that something is, in what case it's light and what case it's heavy, and do that. And then I always say eliminate first, automate second, delegate third, right? In that order, if you can, everything on the heavy side. And that's going to free you up so much in life to be able to actually go out and find what it is you actually do love and do more things you're joyful of. I know early on in my career, I screwed up trying to work so hard on the things I wasn't good at. And I realized, wait a minute, somebody else loves these things. That person's crazy, by the way, but they love spreadsheets. Why don't I focus on what I'm good at and actually love doing, and I get better at that, and I give that other person the opportunity of living in their joy.
Amen.
Yeah.
Guys, what an awesome week. I'm so glad you guys did in rooming together, and this journey's just beginning, and so much more to come. And being young whippersnappers in your early 30s, you have a lot of road ahead of you guys. So I'm very proud of you and very happy for both of you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, Doug.
Thanks for putting this on, and being present the whole time too. Is big for you to be able to do that, and you gave a lot to us, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Gentlemen, if you're looking for your purpose, your passion, or your Ikigai, there's a lot here. We went a little bit all over the place, but that's the way conversations go. That's the way life is. You get to look with the end in mind. What is it you want to land? And if you don't know, that's fine. Start somewhere, though. Take that first small step and move it in the direction, or a direction that could be a possibility. Could be listening to a show like this, could be reaching out, could be joining a community or coming to an event like these fine men came to. Now, you can't just jump into a TPM Legends event, because you got to be a legend first and go through the process. But if you don't start, you'll never get there. As I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action, and whatever you do, do something you're meant for more than average. See you next time on the TPM Show.